Good evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Tamiru Nimsat. Let's have a look at the headlines. Sri Lanka officially takes part at the BRICS Plus Summit. IMF removes Sri Lanka from its surcharge list. News in detail. Foreign Secretary Arun Vijayawardena is set to lead Sri Lanka's delegation to the BRICS Outreach and BRICS Plus Summit, which will be held in Kazan, Russia, the Foreign Ministry revealed in a statement recently. The summit serves as a key platform for cooperation among emerging markets and developing countries, bringing together Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and recently added members Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the UAE.
Sri Lanka has formally initiated its application to join BRICS and the New Development Bank, with President Anurakkumara Dissanayake expressing the country's interest in a letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Additionally, Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath has reached out to his BRICS counterparts, seeking their support for Sri Lanka's membership bid. During the summit, Foreign Secretary Vijayawardena will address the Leaders' Summit on behalf of President Dissanayake. She will also engage with senior representatives of BRICS member countries to discuss Sri Lanka's application and other matters of bilateral interest.
Sri Lanka's finance and leasing companies are set to benefit from the country's ongoing economic recovery, aided by moderating inflation and low interest rates, according to a recent Fitch Ratings report. The agency projects improved performance for the sector by the next financial year, driven by increased loan growth and favorable economic conditions.
Key to this positive outlook is the gradual easing of vehicle import restrictions, which had been in place since 2020 to safeguard foreign reserves. With the relaxation of these restrictions, demand for vehicle financing has surged, boosting loan growth in the sector. Fitch estimates a year-on-year loan growth of 9.6% for the sector in the first quarter of 2025. Profitability in the sector is expected to rise as lower funding and credit costs boost returns on assets, which is forecast to increase to 5.5% in 2024, up from 3% in 2023. However, Fitch cautioned that the recovery remains fragile and contingent on the progress of Sri Lanka's broader economic reforms.
Sri Lanka is set to be removed from the International Monetary Fund's surcharge list as part of the IMF's upcoming lending reforms, effective from next month. The reforms are aimed at reducing the cost of borrowing for heavily indebted countries.
Sri Lanka joined the list of 22 countries facing IMF surcharges in 2023, with these surcharges adding 2 to 3% on top of regular interest rates for countries whose borrowing exceeded certain thresholds. These fees have been a controversial aspect of IMF lending, as they increase the financial burden on countries already struggling with high debt levels. Sri Lanka was expected to pay $308 million in surcharges over the next decade, accounting for nearly 16% of total IMF-related charges and interests. Sri Lanka's removal from the surcharge list is a significant relief, as it had already paid over $1.4 million in surcharges this year, in addition to $73 million in other IMF charges. With the country's outstanding IMF credit standing at 331.3% as of July 2024, this reform will ease a substantial financial burden, allowing Sri Lanka to focus on its broader economic recovery efforts.
Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. The National Supply Chain Day celebrations will be held tomorrow in Colombo, featuring prominent supply chain professionals Chris Oanda and Marco Hentinen. President of the Institute of Supply and Materials Management, Jayanta Galiheva, made this announcement during a press conference held in Colombo recently.
This event, organized by ISMM, aims to emphasize the critical role of supply chain management in driving economic growth in Sri Lanka. In recognition of its importance, the Sri Lankan government has officially declared October 24 as National Supply Chain Day following ISMM's recommendations and cabinet approval. The day's event will commence with an international seminar under the theme Supply Chain Innovations in Crisis, Exploring New Avenues and Adapting to Global Shifts. The seminar will feature 3 technical sessions and a CEO forum where industry leaders will discuss sustainable supply chains, digitalization and entrepreneurship within the supply chain ecosystem. Chris Oanda, the President of International Federation of Purchasing and Supply Management, will serve as the guest of honor, and Markku Hentinen, CEO of IFPSM, will be a special guest. The day will conclude with the National Supply Chain Excellence Awards, where both organizations and individuals will be recognized for their contributions to the field. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya will attend the award ceremony as the chief guest.
Tea exports earnings have exceeded $1 billion during the first 9 months, marking a 6% increase from the previous year. However, September saw a 15% year-on-year drop in the quantity of tea exported, mounting to a 26-year low of over 19 million kilograms.
The decline is attributed to lower tea production in the second quarter, though production began showing signs of recovery in the third quarter. Total tea exports from January to September 2024 amounted to 182.3 million kilograms, slightly higher than the 181.4 million kilograms exported during the same period in 2023. Iraq remains the largest importer of Ceylon tea despite a slight decline in volumes. Other key markets like Russia and the UAE have seen growth, with UAE volumes increasing by 33%. Saudi Arabia, a high-value market, recorded a 34% year-on-year increase in imports.
Mangala Vijayasinghe officially assumed duties as the 16th chairman of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board at the EDB headquarters recently. In his inaugural address to the staff, he emphasized the importance of diversifying Sri Lanka's export portfolio and focusing on high-tech industries such as electronics and pharmaceuticals.
He highlighted the growing significance of service exports, which saw a 69% increase in revenue in 2023, totaling $3.1 billion. This growth was primarily driven by sectors like ICT, logistics, transport and construction. Vijayasinghe affirmed the government's goal of achieving $5 billion in ICT export revenue by 2030, acknowledging the foundational work done by his predecessors at the EDB. Vijayasinghe also emphasized the need to remove barriers that hinder export sector growth and to explore avenues for encouraging more exporters and products in Sri Lanka's export basket. He outlined 3 key priorities for the EDB under his leadership: increasing per capita export revenue, improving Sri Lanka's ease of doing business ranking, and achieving a target of $30 billion in export income by 2030.
Stay tuned for stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today.
The all-share price index gained by 57 points for it closed at 12,357.45, and the SNSP SL20 gained by 34.60 to close at 3,663.40. The turnover was 2.3 billion rupees and over 67 million shares were traded.
Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.